And welcome back. USD superstar pole vaulter Chris Nielsen brought home the gold at the 2019 Pan American Games. Nielsen won the pole vaulting competition by climbing a height of 18 feet 10 3/4 inches. And Renner was hoping to keep the magic alive today as they played in their third straight elimination game at the Central Plains Regional Tournament. And today was not going to be a cakewalk for the Royals as they faced Excelsior. Top of the second, Excelsior leads 1-0, and that wouldn't last long. Renner's Jack Evers plunks one right to the second baseman, and he would be out, but a run would come in, and they tack on one more, and Renner leads 2-1. In the bottom of the second, Excelsior would even it up as Gerard Wondersea puts one into the deep center field for a sac fly. A runner was able to score, and the game is tied at 2-2 after 2. But in the third, this is where Excelsior would get loose. Matt Mortensen launches one to center, and this time the fielder reads it wrong and two would score, and this is what we call the beginning of the end, as Excelsior would put the pedal to the metal and never look back, scoring 8 runs in the third, and the game was finally stopped in the fifth via mercy rule, and Excelsior wins by the final score of 12-2. But hey, Renner did have a great season as they went 39-24 and going further than they ever had in the tournament. And the state amateur Class B baseball tournament continued today, but with games being postponed last night due to weather, there were 6 games today instead of 4. The first game of the day was between South Central and Northville, and you want to talk about instant offense. In the first inning, South Central's Blake Hoffman hits the equivalent of a bunt, allows 1 run to score, then there was a wild throw to first, and another run was scored. South Central leads 2-0. And then we turn to the bottom of the first. Northville already scored on a walk, but with the bases loaded, Ethan Byers drops one into the gaps, and 3 runs come in, and they would score, and Northville leads 4-2. Still in the bottom of the first, bases are loaded again, and Cody LaFleur sends one past the first baseman. 2 runners score, and Northville scores 7 runs in the first inning, and they go on to win this one in a shootout, 18-11. And Clark defeats Redfield today, 3-2. Clark's pitcher Zach Tobin pitched a complete game. And in our games that got canceled yesterday and postponed, Minnow shuts out Clear Lake 10-0, and Garrettson shuts out Groton 15-0. And in our nightcaps, Canova defeats Akron 10-0. There's a lot of shutouts on this board, and Flandreau wins in our 4th shutout of the day, 10-0. And it was day 2 of the SDGA Amateur Men's and Women's Golf Championship. Day 1 belonged to Will Grevlos and Katie Bartlett, and today was more of the same. Grevlos entered today as the top dog, but that doesn't mean he wasn't going to fight for his spot on hole 10. Current ISU Cyclone Bryce Hammer is trying to add a birdie to his day, and that one just goes a little bit wide, and Hammer would try to make a run for the top spot, but struggled on the back 9, falling to 24th. But Grevlos played like no one was watching, taking a birdie on hole 11, and he wasn't showing any signs of slowing down. He made that clear on the next hole as he picked up another birdie for the back-to-back, like a Drake song. And Grevlos would finish 2 under on the day and 5 under overall, and still he would be sitting in first place. Another guy eyeing the top spot was Mitchell's Brandon Sigmund, grabbing a birdie on hole 12. He finished the day tied for 4th place. And on the women's side, we had a SDSU-USD rivalry for the top spot. Former Jackrabbit Maggie Murphy is making her run, and she would look for the birdie on 12, but leaves it less than an inch short of the hole, and that was enough to keep pace with the leader, former Coyote Katie Bartlett. And she would try to hold her off, looking for the birdie on hole 14, but she misses it wide and would have to settle for par. Bartlett finished still on top at 8 over as the day finished, and Murphy finished 7 strokes back to the lead, tied for 5th. And a couple of groups behind, current Jackrabbit Sydney Wirebaugh, looking to grab her own birdie on 14, misses wide, and that green on hole 14 is a tricky one, and Wirebaugh would finish 4th, and looking to make a run, Shannon McCormick of O'Gorman finding a rare birdie on hole 16, and she would jump into a tie for 7th place as we look at the leaderboards. And Bartlett leads by 2 strokes, and Julie Jansen is not far behind Wirebaugh, only 4 strokes behind Bartlett. And for the men's, as we go into the final day, it's Will Grevlos championship to lose as he leads second place by 2 strokes. But with 6 players within 5 strokes, tomorrow can get interesting, and tee time for the men and women is at 12:15 tomorrow. And the Twins were in action tonight. That game actually got postponed due to weather, and they actually started at 8. So right now they're in the top of the 6th, and they're looking good, leading the Cleveland Indians 3-0. And the Canaries were also in action tonight against the Salt Dogs. They tried to make a run in the 9th, but they weren't able to do it, and they lost 5-4. And that's going to do it for sports. We'll be back in a little bit.